Today, we're doing a forensic deep dive into one of the most vicious scams operating right now, the fake medical alert system. We're going inside what's called the Lifeline ruse to show you exactly how criminals exploit our deepest fears about a medical emergency, not just to steal a bit of money, but to commit complete and total identity theft. It's time to expose how this predatory scheme actually works. So here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 6 parts to give you the complete picture. First, we'll define the ruse itself, how a safety net becomes a trap. Then we'll look at the anxiety it's designed to trigger. We'll map out the scammer's entire playbook, step by step, and then dig into why our brains are wired to obey. And then, the most important part, we're going to build a rock-solid defense protocol. We'll wrap it all up with the single most important principle you need to know. So let's start with a core paradox of this whole scam. See, it shows up looking like a safety net, right? A device that's supposed to protect you, to help you keep your independence. But in reality, it's a meticulously designed trap. It's a Trojan horse that gets delivered right over your phone line. Now just think about that for a second. This is what's so chilling. The biggest danger isn't just having a fall or a medical crisis. The most dangerous moment is when you reach out for help, thinking you're about to connect with a doctor, but instead you're put on the line with a predator who has been waiting for you to be at your most vulnerable. And this right here just lays the deception out perfectly. The offer is always about giving you peace of mind. It's a free device, they say, to help you stay safe in your own home. But the goal? It has absolutely nothing to do with your health. That device is just the bait. The real prize, the thing they're really after, is your identity, your Medicare number, your Social Security number, everything they need for total access to your financial life. So how do they get away with it? Well, to understand why this scam works so well, you have to understand the psychological foundation it's built on. This isn't about clever technology, it's about weaponizing a deep, primal fear that we all have. There's actually a clinical term for this: mortality anxiety. It's that gut-level fear of being helpless, you know? The thought of having a fall or a stroke when you're all alone with no one to call. Scammers know this is one of our most powerful fears, and they use it like a key to unlock the rational part of our brain and just walk right past all of our normal, everyday defenses. And you have to understand, this is a biological hack. It's not a failure of intelligence. When our brain gets flooded with that panic, that fear of a health crisis, the analytical part of our brain, the part that would normally say, hey, wait a minute, this is a weird phone call, it just shuts down. The primal need for safety completely overrides any kind of logical thinking. The scammer is literally banking on that physical reaction. So let's be really clear here. This isn't about losing a small monthly fee. The stakes are catastrophic. We're talking about criminals getting their hands on enough information to drain entire retirement accounts, open up brand new credit cards in your name, and even file fake tax returns to get a refund. And beyond all the financial ruin, there's the deep psychological trauma of finding out that the thing you thought was your safety net was actually a predator's web. Okay, let's shift gears and get tactical. I want you to think of this next part as an intelligence briefing. We're going to pull back the curtain and walk through the scammer's operational playbook, step by step, so you can see exactly how this heist is pulled off. Okay, so it starts with targeting. They buy data lists, often of people who've recently been to a pharmacy, which makes the call feel really relevant. Then comes the hook, a free piece of equipment, maybe a pendant they say is worth $400, all paid for by some fake government grant. Now, step 3 is the kill shot, verification coercion. They'll say, in order to ship the unit, I just need to verify your Social Security or Medicare number. It sounds official, it sounds procedural, and it's a trap. Step 4 is what they call financial extraction. They'll ask for a tiny fee, like $1.99 for shipping. It seems harmless, right? But it's not about the money, it's about getting your bank details and confirming the account is active. And finally, the subscription trap. Suddenly you see recurring charges on your account, and if you try to stop them, a fake collections agency starts calling with legal threats to keep you scared and keep you paying. Let's just be perfectly clear. At no point, not for 1 second, is this a healthcare offer. The free equipment is nothing more than bait. The entire operation, from the very first word they say on the phone, is a data heist designed for one purpose: to steal your most sensitive personal information. So we've seen the how, but the really interesting question is the why. Why do so many smart, careful people fall for this? Let's dig into the psychology now and look at the principles that make this scam so brutally effective. And it's a really important question to ask because this has nothing to do with being intelligent or not. This scam works because it exploits universal cognitive biases that are hardwired into all of our brains. Anyone who values their independence is a potential target.
The first and most powerful exploit they use is something called authority bias. Our brains are just conditioned from a young age to listen to and obey authority figures, especially when it comes to healthcare. So the second a caller says they're from Medicare or the medical alert department, a switch just flips in our brain and we start to comply almost reflexively. The second trick is what we can call institutional submission. The scammers will use a lot of complex, clinical-sounding jargon. They'll talk about fall detection algorithms or biometric monitoring. They do this on purpose to make you feel kind of ignorant and intimidated. You feel like you're not really qualified to question the expert, and so you just go along with it. When you boil it all down, this is what's really going on. The scammer isn't hacking your computer. They're hacking your primal survival drive. They are weaponizing your deep, powerful desire to stay safe, to be independent, and to live in your own home for as long as possible. They are turning your own self-reliance against you. Okay, we have analyzed the attack from every angle. Now let's pivot to defense. This part is all about action. We're going to lay out a clear, simple protocol to build what is essentially an impenetrable shield against this kind of attack. This is your first line of defense, the zero information policy. These are the non-negotiable bright line rules. You never ever give your Medicare or Social Security number to someone who calls you out of the blue. Same goes for your bank or credit card info. And remember this, a real agency like Medicare already has your data. They have zero reason to call you to verify it. If you get an unsolicited call offering something for free, it is a giant red flag. And the only correct response is to hang up. Now, if you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, let it be this. This is the single most powerful weapon you have. It's called direct verification. Step 1, you disengage from the threat. You hang up the phone. It is not rude. It is a strategic defense maneuver. Step 2, you reinitiate contact on your terms, using the official, trusted number that's printed on the back of your own card. This puts you back in complete control of the situation. And look, if you want a tool you can use in the heat of the moment, here's a simple, powerful script. Memorize it. It's calm, it's firm, and it shuts the conversation down without being confrontational. A legitimate company will have no problem mailing you information. A scammer? They'll immediately start using high-pressure tactics or even threats, and that's how you'll know for sure they're not who they claim to be. All right, that brings us to our final section. We've taken the scam apart, we've built a solid defense. Now let's boil all of this down to one single core principle of protection. And it really just comes down to this one simple, stark difference in motive. A real doctor, a legitimate healthcare provider, they are concerned with your health. That's it. Their focus is your well-being. A scammer is only concerned with one thing, your data. That's their product. You are just the raw material. And here it is. This is the mantra. This is the phrase I want you to burn into your memory because it can act as a cognitive stop sign for any future unsolicited offer. If a stranger calls you up offering a valuable piece of safety equipment for free, you have to stop and ask yourself why. The answer is always the same. You are not the customer. You and your identity are the product that's being sold. So the crucial point I want to leave you with is this. True safety, real security, it is never offered in an unsolicited phone call from a stranger. It's built on verified, trusted relationships that you initiate. So the real question now is, knowing how this predatory system works, how are you going to use this knowledge to arm someone you care about against it? Because sharing what you've learned today is the final and maybe the most important step in breaking the chain of this scam for good.